Welcome back to the social media program. I'm your host, Mikey, and in today's episode, we're talking about word salad. And word salad is something that I get stuck in on a personal level because I'm trying to get somewhere that I want to be with my whole goals. And I can get stuck in the word salad of trying to do something that other people are giving advice to. Even yours truly, me giving you advice may not work. And you want to make sure that you are staying level-headed about your thinking, but also realistic, but not also closed-minded enough that you can't try new things. I'll explain. One of the things that we see on social media a lot is make $1,000 a day by doing such and such and such. Highly unlikely, but it is possible for the very select few. And you have to realize that social media companies, they want you to create the content. Social media does not exist unless there's creators or regular people posting photos and status updates and all of that. Without people doing that, there is no social media platform. So there is a tendency to be looking at the luring of trying to get a creator like you or me to do something to stay engaged. And when things start to go downhill, sometimes you can Google for information on, what am I doing wrong? Why has things changed? The worst thing that you can do for yourself is to sit there and say, oh my God, my numbers are going down. Is it me? Most likely your numbers failing, unless you're not working on your content, is not necessarily you, but it's actually an algorithm change within the social media platforms. Each one of them has their algorithms. The search engines has their algorithms. And when they do a fine tuning on stuff, something that was so popular last month can be completely in the toilet today. And it can be the complete opposite way where you could be in the toilet and then somehow it changed and it's in your favor. I find with myself is that I will reach out to trusted people and ask questions. Why is this happening with this? And you have to establish those relationships to be able to have something like that, where somebody is not going to feed you the lollipops. They are going to feed you the raw fish and give you answers that you may not want to hear, because you do yourself a disservice by not being objective. So if your mom loves you and everything that you do that comes out of you is perfect, you're never going to grow, because if mom doesn't really like something, but she's doing that because she's your mom, that's really not going to help you in the long term. You need the people in your life that say, you know what, that was an okay content that you did, but I wish you would have just worded it this way, maybe taken a photograph from a different angle from this way. And because of that, that critical thinking is actually what can propel you the most. One of the things that I don't talk about myself is that I have a hard time taking a compliment. So as much as people may compliment on what I'm doing, it's also the critical thinking of the comments that come in that say, I wish you would have touched on something of this. And people can say that to you without it being a negative critique. And depending on your mood swing, that somebody says, Michael, I wish you would have touched on this particular yarn instead of this one. Well, maybe there's a reason why I touched on that other yarn, and maybe their comment is moot in the sense that I'm not going to engage in that because I had a reason for it. But you can take that comment and say, well, maybe there's an interest in that kind of yarn. Maybe I can work on that. And just don't think about it from yarn, but think about it from every element of what you're doing. So the social media is designed to keep you engaged and keep you striving for more. The percentage of a YouTuber like me hitting the level that I am in today's world in 2023 is very slim. And so you have to keep engaged and you have to keep making content, and you have to just do that. But you have to also make quality content. So sometimes I speed along and I will say, oh, you know what, there's a little flower that somebody may like. A couple thousand people may view the video and it will never be a big thing, but at least it's there for people that are looking for that in the future. And then there's other content where I think it's going to go big, and it does go big in my particular terms. So, and then there's other content where you will make and say, I think it'll do well, and it does not do well at all. And you kind of feel like you wasted your time. So if you always are successful in everything that you do, you're never going to find a way to self-grow, to be able to fine-tune yourself. So with the social media, they want you to keep doing and doing and doing. And when you're failing, they'll put another idea and another idea and another idea. And in my case, I find with myself, it's the tail chasing the dog or the dog chasing the tail. It's one of those two. I can't remember. But I feel like I'm never the dog. I'm always feel like I'm chasing something. And that is what causes social media burnout. And it's the word salad of these companies that want you to keep doing more and more and more. But in the end, it's really in their interest unless you're able to monetize and to be able to create a community of it. So some of the platforms that I participate in, there's no monetization. TikTok is a great example of that, where there is no money there for me to be able to do that. I can't even say that there's any metrics to prove that the people that follow me there benefit my website, because there's no correlation with that. But I still create content once in a while, knowing that it's a crapshoot, and other people have done really great on TikTok, and I follow people on TikTok, and it's a fun little platform. I actually heard a saying yesterday. It was TikTok is the new fentanyl of the US, and because it is addictive, and it's just a time waste. Instagram Reels is another time waste. But because these social media companies saying, well, if you just do it a little bit more and a little bit more, I feel like it's a carousel that never ends. So make sure that you are being objective, and that not all advice that the social media companies are giving you is necessarily in your interest, but it's to also keep you basically on a fish line in order to keep moving and to keep making content more and more and more. Remember, social media company is worthless if people like you and I don't participate. Something to think about.